If you ask most entrepreneurs what success really looks like, well, you're probably going to hear about the numbers, right?
Right.
Revenue, growth, maybe a big exit. That's the standard playbook.
Exactly. But the sources we've been digging into, they completely flip that idea on its head. They argue that focusing only on those external metrics, it's like building on shaky ground.
Right. So this deep dive is based on this structured guide,
Hmm.
one that aims to weave together, ancient spiritual insights with very practical modern business strategy.
We're going way beyond just the profit and loss statement here. We're trying to understand what the authors are calling the real bedrock of stability, spiritual wealth.
Okay, so our mission today, for you listening, is to really define this term, spiritual wealth. How do you even know if you have it? And then crucially, what are the practical tools? Things like mindset shifts, energy work, ethical strategies.
That connect that inner sense of fulfillment directly to, well, to actual business results, measurable success.
The core idea, and it is a bit challenging, is that real sustainable success in business comes from being deeply aligned. Aligned with your purpose, your values, that inner sense of knowing.
And this isn't just some feel-good concept.
Yeah.
This alignment, it gives you resilience, real grit to handle the market ups and downs, and it makes sure your growth isn't just rapid, but actually meaningful, sustainable.
All right, let's try and unpack this idea of wealth having two sides, because the guide is really clear. You need both financial and spiritual wealth, but they do very different jobs in your business.
Yeah, financial wealth, we all get that one. It's the tangible stuff. Income, assets, net worth. It gives you stability, options, comfort, absolutely critical.
But relying only on that,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the sources say the trouble starts.
Mm-hmm. That pure chase for numbers can lock entrepreneurs onto this like high-stress treadmill. It leads to burnout, serious anxiety, and that weird feeling of emptiness, even when the bank balance looks amazing.
The classic achieved everything, feel nothing paradox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so spiritual wealth comes in as the balance. It's intangible peace, purpose, clarity, maybe compassion, fulfillment. But for the really pragmatic listener, how does inner peace actually boost the bottom line?
Well, it boosts your decision-making
Yeah.
and your staying power. Spiritual wealth gives you that inner stability, the why behind the work. When your strategy lines up with your core values, you stop wasting energy on things that just don't fit or
Yeah.
clients that drain you.
Right?
This inner compass helps you build something authentic, something resilient. It helps avoid those expensive mistakes you make when you're driven by fear or, desperation.
Okay, so if that's the wise stability, authentic growth, then the how starts inside with what the source material calls the inner game. This is where mindset and energy come in, almost like magnets for abundance.
It sounds a bit out there at first, maybe, but the sources actually connect this to energy and vibration. They even touch on concepts from quantum physics, suggesting that every thought, every emotion an entrepreneur holds carries an energetic frequency, and that frequency actively shapes their business reality.
Okay, energy frequency. Let's make that concrete. If we're talking high frequencies like genuine excitement, gratitude, real confidence, how does that actually show up in day-to-day business?
Think about how your brand feels to others. Client attraction, a high frequency brings clarity, your message is confident, it's positive, it's all about the value you bring. People are drawn to that energy. Opportunities seem to flow more easily.
And the opposite, low frequency, fear, doubt.
That creates real, tangible friction. Resistance. It looks like missed chances, always scrambling for clients, marketing that feels needy or forced. Just hard work for little return.
So the sources say if you operate from that high vibration, your business finds flow, not just force. You're not constantly hustling out of panic.
Exactly. And a huge part of this is shifting from that scarcity mindset, always seeing limits, fierce competition, that constant anxiety of not enough,
Yeah, we all know that feeling.
to an abundance mindset. Believing opportunities are everywhere, collaboration works, there's plenty to go around, growth is possible.
And the guide points to gratitude at like the express elevator to that abundant state, an instant energetic upgrade.
It really is powerful. The sources call gratitude one of the highest vibrational states because it literally rewires how you see things. It pulls your focus away from what's missing, the lack, and forces you to notice what is working, what is thriving.
And that's not just positive thinking. It actually sharpens your financial awareness.
Yes, you become better at spotting the resources you already have, seeing opportunities that were maybe invisible before, simply because your focus was on scarcity.
Which brings us to the practical tool, gratitude journaling. And it's not just thanks for the big stuff, right?
No, it's about deliberately logging the small wins. The micro blessings, daily progress, anything that reinforces the feeling that you are supported, that resources are flowing, it actively builds that abundance muscle.
Okay, but even with gratitude, you can still hit walls, internal blockers. The guide talks a lot about rewiring limiting beliefs, those deep-seated scripts that just stop you cold.
Oh, absolutely. We all carry them. And they often sound so reasonable, like common sense, but really they're self-sabotage.
Like what? What are common ones for entrepreneurs?
Things like, making money has to be hard work, or I don't really deserve this level of success, or that really common one, more money just brings more problems.
I've heard that last one a lot.
And those beliefs, they create energetic static. It can show up as procrastination, maybe a fear of hiring help, or just consistently making poor strategic choices because deep down you don't believe the better outcome is possible for you.
So what's the fix? It sounds tough.
It is demanding. It requires conscious reprogramming. You have to catch the script playing in your head, identify it, and then actively, deliberately replace it with an empowering affirmation that directly contradicts it.
Can you give an example of that replacement in action?
Sure. Let's say the script is, I have to grind myself into the dust to earn decent money. You catch it, and you consciously replace it with something like, wealth flows to me easily and effortlessly in proportion to the value I create.
Okay.
Now, that's not magic. It's about redirecting your internal energy, shifting from an expectation of struggle to one of confident ease. And that subtle shift changes how you show up, how you negotiate, how you price everything.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So inner game tuned up, then we move outward to aligned action, connecting that spiritual clarity to actual business strategy and ethics. The guide says your core values are like your brand's internal compass.
And this is where spiritual wealth starts to look really tangible on the balance sheet. When your values are super clear, they define your brand's personality. Decision-making gets simpler. You start attracting clients who get you, who share those values. That cuts down friction massively and builds trust way faster.
Yeah, I like that the guide didn't just talk theory here. It used real examples. TOMS shoes, building giving right into their model. Patagonia with their fierce environmental mission, attracting exactly the right kind of customer.
Exactly. Those companies show that ethical wealth creation isn't just about compliance. It's a powerful, sustainable strategy. It's built on integrity, creating genuine value products or services that actually make lives better, and fair exchange pricing that reflects that value, not just undercutting competitors.
Okay, let's talk selling then, because that feels like where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
If I'm a founder under pressure to hit targets, how does this idea of conscious selling actually work in a pitch meeting?
Conscious selling has to start with transparency and focusing on value. The guide emphasizes this principle of non-attachment to outcomes.
Non-attachment. That sounds passive.
It's not passive, it's a shift in focus. Your goal changes from, I must close this deal at all costs, to, I'm here to serve, explore if this is a great fit for both of us, and provide value. When you focus on genuinely serving and finding that perfect alignment, rather than trying to convince or pressure someone, you actually repel the wrong clients and attract the right ones. You eliminate that desperate energy that paradoxically pushes good opportunities away.
Okay, and to maintain that clarity, that alignment day after day, the guide suggests intentional rituals, ways to infuse the workday with purpose.
Think of them as energetic maintenance. And they don't need to be elaborate or mystical. Consistency is key. It could be 5 minutes of morning meditation, setting a clear intention for the day.
Or maybe something physical.
Yeah, like a brief ritual to clear your workspace energy between calls, maybe using scent, like sage, or just a moment of silence. And definitely ending the day with that gratitude reflection we talked about to lock in the abundance mindset before you switch off.
That all sounds great when things are flowing. But what about when they're not? When the market tanks or your big launch gets delayed 6 months? That brings us to resilience and this pressure entrepreneurs feel to control everything.
Right. And this is where the idea of trusting divine timing comes in as a practical tool, not just a spiritual platitude. Surrendering control isn't about giving up.
Okay.
It means you keep taking consistent, meaningful action. You do the work, but you release the desperate grip on a specific outcome or timeline. You trust that a larger, possibly better path is unfolding. It actually opens you up to unexpected opportunities because you're not just laser focused on plan A.
But wait, if my Q3 numbers are looking bad, I can't just, meditate and wait for divine timing, can I? What's the actionable part of surrender in a high-stakes situation?
The actionable part is combining the inner trust with continued high-quality effort. So faced with that delay or dip, You keep showing up, you keep building value, you keep making connections. But internally, you affirm something like, okay, this pause, this challenge, it's redirecting me. It's guiding me towards something even better.
Ah, okay.
That mental shift prevents panic. It stops you from making rash, fear-based decisions that often make things worse. You're actively waiting well while still doing the work.
And doing all this, maintaining that inner state, navigating challenges it's hard to do alone. The guide stresses building a specific kind of support system, a spiritual wealth support system.
Yeah, and the components are key. You need mentors and coaches, yes, but they must share your core values. Their guidance needs to support your authentic path, not just push you toward generic metrics or quick wins that feel wrong.
Makes sense. And mastermind groups, too.
Absolutely. Peer accountability, sharing insights with others on a similar path, that's invaluable for navigating those complex, messy decisions you face as a founder.
And the guide also mentions something maybe less conventional, energy healers or practitioners.
It does, and the goal here is really practical. These practitioners can help identify and release deeper energetic blocks, maybe old fears, patterns from past failures, that scarcity programming we talked about, things your conscious mind might struggle to shift on its own. It's about keeping your internal operating system clear and optimized for attracting abundance.
So surrounding yourself with these kinds of positive, aligned influences, mentors, peers, healers, it acts like an amplifier for your own energy and purpose.
Exactly. It boosts everything, your clarity, your purpose, your resilience. It helps sustain prosperity over the long haul, not just in short bursts.
So if we pull all these threads together, the inner work on beliefs and energy, the outer work of aligned strategy and ethics, the core message seems clear. Spiritual wealth isn't just a nice to have, it's the foundation.
It really is. It's the entrepreneur's superpower, the thing that makes financial wealth truly sustainable, meaningful, and honestly, more enjoyable.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Something provocative to chew on. Building on this whole idea of inner alignment and working smart, not just hard. If your energy really does shape your reality, maybe you should start fighting your body's natural rhythms.
That's a fascinating point from the guide. Instead of forcing yourself to grind through tasks when you feel drained, what if you started observing your own natural flow? Your personal energy cycles, particularly what scientists call ultradian rhythms.
Ultradian rhythms. Those are the natural cycles of energy and focus throughout the day, right? Usually
Yeah.
about 90 to 120 minutes of peak performance, followed by a dip where you need rest.
Exactly. So the challenge is, what if you started tracking those personal high energy windows? And what if you deliberately scheduled your most important, most demanding work, the strategic thinking, the key sales calls, the creative work, precisely for those peak times?
Aligning your toughest tasks with your body's natural peak energy output.
You'd be aligning your effort perfectly with your inner timing, leveraging your natural flow instead of fighting against it.
Now that sounds like truly aligned action. Harnessing your own internal clock for maximum impact and maybe more ease. Something to think about.
To get more details about sacred success, aligning spiritual wisdom with entrepreneurial wealth, click the below link to get the book. Subscribe us to get more content like this.